Paper Mario is a series that is near and dear to many Nintendo fans. The first two installments gave us large environments to explore, witty dialogue to ingest, and most of all, turn-based RPG elements that allowed the player to truly feel a sense of strategy. Since then, the newer Paper Mario games have received mixed perception for gimmicky combat and excessive handholding. Despite this, I was very excited when the Origami King was announced. The trailer led me to believe that we were going to witness a classic Paper Mario adventure. Did Nintendo stay true to its roots? Let's check it out! The Origami King delivers in certain aspects. Thanks to the Nintendo Switch's modern hardware, Origami King provides us with the best visuals I've ever seen in a Paper Mario game. The colorful characters really pop out, and the beautiful environments and backgrounds will allow this game to hold up through the test of time. The story is wacky, funny, and overall fun. The Origami King takes over the Mushroom Kingdom, literally and figuratively folding it over, forcing Bowser's minions to become origami abominations. The King's sister is a good girl, and she's your guide throughout your adventure. There are some dark parts of the game that add great humor to the story, like a giant Goomba eating a building, making the tone of the story seem ominous, almost like a zombie apocalypse. The environments and puzzles are very interactive. A new mechanic in the Origami King was the use of confetti. Mario does his best Rip Taylor impression and throws confetti over blank holes in the environment, allowing him to traverse to new regions or gain extra coins. The puzzles will never stump you. They're not as intuitive as, say, a Zelda game, but they're nice breaks from the action. I have always given Paper Mario credit for having fun overworlds, so fun that some people like the environments more than the combat. The Origami King gave me a great world to explore. There are hidden toads scattered across the world that became addicting to find. As I find them, they go back to Toad Town and new shops open up, making the world seem more alive. This gave me a reason to explore. I found the Paper Mario series to be groundbreaking due to its ability to sway away from the classic JRPG genre. In old JRPGs, you would basically just walk around going from battle to battle, but there was not enough going on in the overworld to allow you to feel that the game was truly alive. Paper Mario was always fun outside of battle, which made the world that much more engaging. The Origami King's overworld actually outweighed the combat for me, but let's discuss why. For those of you hoping for a classic Paper Mario RPG adventure game, you will be disappointed. The Origami King is not an RPG at all, but instead an adventure game with turn-based combat. Allow me to elaborate. In the first two Paper Mario games, you would gain experience points after battle and level up. My favorite part about those games was choosing what you wanted to level up. Your health, your flower points which allow you to do special moves, or your badge points which allow you to equip more badges to affect battle. There was tremendous replayability in that you could make your own builds, mixing and matching the best ratio. Do you want to only level up your health, absorb a ton of damage, and go punch for punch with the enemy? Go for it. Want to go heavy on the flower points and go for a mage type build? It's your choice. I was into badge points because it could enable a lot of new abilities which turned Paper Mario into a strategic type game. In Origami King, there are no experience points. You simply don't level up. This means the player has absolutely no incentive to battle enemies. The only benefit to battling enemies is that you can gain coins to buy items, but the game is so easy that I rarely needed items. It's clear that this style is suited for younger gamers, but what I'm failing to comprehend is the fact that the original Paper Mario came out when I was 6 years old. It was hard and I died a lot, but the lack of handholding was incredibly fulfilling at even a young age. I was forced to simply get better and learn from my mistakes. For Origami King to adopt this new turn-based combat style while stripping out the RPG elements turned a potentially beautiful game of chess into a bland game of checkers. The combat intrigued me early on. You move your enemies along a grid until they're lined up in a single file for your jump attack, or in a square for a hammer attack. Every combat sequence felt like a mini Rubik's Cube, and I felt like a genius solving it. If you don't solve the puzzles within a specific time span, you lose the ability to attack all of your enemies in that turn, and you lose out on valuable multipliers in your attacks. This addition was initially very exciting. My issue with it was there was rarely any variety and a lot of repetition within these puzzles, so after a couple hours in, you'll find yourself solving them without any feeling of accomplishment and quickly wipe your enemies out. My harsh critique on the battle system is not necessarily consistent across the World Wide Web. I have seen other reviews that state that the challenge grows within these puzzles. My retort is, even if you fail to solve them, the battle provides little to no challenge with all the items and health that you have at your disposal. When you dumb down your battle system while simultaneously providing zero incentive for the gamer to even bother to battle, it will force the gamer to avoid as many enemies as possible. I started to grow mad whenever I encountered an enemy I didn't mean to encounter. In contrast to older Paper Mario games, I used to go out of my way to fight every possible enemy, so this was a huge difference. In a more positive light, the boss battles added some variety and made me briefly put on my thinking cap. While you still manipulate the grids, the enemy is located in the middle this time. The grids are for Mario to get to the enemy, so you manipulate arrows, try to avoid hazards, and try to gain power-ups in order to take down the big boss. Each boss is a stationary item you could buy at Staples, like colored pencils, a tape roll, or a rubber band man. The bosses portray its theme onto the environment, like the tape roll taping specific parts of the grid, forcing you to move multiple columns at once and providing a certain level of restriction to the Rubik's Cube elements. This switch up was well done, and I welcomed it during my playthrough, but there were not enough boss battles to outweigh the rest of the shortcomings Nintendo provided. I found Origami King to be at its best when you're focusing on exploring the world and taking in the scenery. This is a beautiful game. If you're a fan of all Paper Mario games, you love the aesthetics, the story, the dialogue, Origami King delivers. If you were hoping for the N64 and GameCube days like I was, there will be some disappointments. Nintendo has done a lot of good by the old school fans through the Nintendo Switch, and although Origami King is not a bad game by any means, it fails to add any depth or challenge, and for that, I found myself underwhelmed.